This video is sponsored by World Anvil, the online world building platform I keep telling you about. If you're not keen on trying new programs and stick to simpler means of writing your campaign, I still recommend adding World Anvil to your tool belt. There's so much you can do with it for world building, campaign planning, storytelling, and monster making. They have video tutorials and a Discord full of experienced and passionate builders who will happily answer any question you might have with just a couple minutes of a video or a helpful reply. I use it for my campaigns, and this little pocket article creator lets me quickly write down descriptions for names and locations that I come up with during the game, so I can revisit them later. As I've said before, if you haven't already checked it out, please do so. It's a great tool with a great community behind it. This is actually the third video in the series, but because uploads are weird as heck this month, here you go. In the video I made about evil dragons, I cover more than I intended to, so I added draconic cousins to this video because I enjoy the topic. There's too many big scaly flying and swimming monsters for me to make this preface very long, so let's just start with gem dragons. They were originally presented in bleak detail in the 2E supplement Monstrous Manual, mentioned later in various snippets, and then reimagined by Matt Colville in his book Strongholds and Followers. I'm gonna gather all the info I can from each resource and try to find out what the fuck they are and how they act. Don't get mad at me because I'm not ripping everything off from the book of another content creator. If you want buy the book, go away, cause this is Funny Town, where we only make a little bit of sense. Their main trait that makes them unique is having big ol' crystal bodies and psionic powers, which means if they think really hard, their thinks become true, and they cast big brain spells. They have the same powers as Ness, Mind Flayers, that 2-year-old from One Punch Man, Psychonauts, and Steve from Minecraft. Without further ado, let's get back into the alignment chart, starting with lawful neutral. Emerald dragons are tourists with agoraphobia. They want to see everything that happens in the world, but don't want to talk to or be seen by anyone, like invisible history buffs. A lot like those baby-headed watchers from Marvel, they learn an insane amount of self-preservation magic and then they don't do anything. Ever. They set up camp deep underwater or in dead volcanoes, throw a bag of gems in the microwave, then watch YouTube for a millennia on a crystal ball. You can't talk to them, and if you show up at their house, they'll just kill you. Just like me. Sapphire dragons share two of their traits, reclusively antisocial and infinitely knowledgeable. Instead of historical events, however, they are much more interested in military tactics and the actual flow of time. Less timid than those little emerald bitches, these dragons value the responsibility that their nature brings. They stand like guardians and knights, ready to defend reality from anyone who would wage a world-tearing or time-ripping war. Also, they'll kill you if you show up to their house. Amethyst dragons, from the source I'm using, are titans of true neutrality. Many of them suffer from a rare, debilitating condition called barren field. They're born without a single fuck to give, and nowhere to cultivate any fucks of their own. It seems as though they rapidly gather wisdom as they age, but take little interest in actively growing their knowledge of events or trades. They get amused by insignificant things on a whim, and enjoy learning about riddles for some reason. If you attack them, they hawk up a phlegmy lozenge that detonates and just kills you. That's their breath weapon. Crystal dragons are hard to look at because they're made of clout, and their name is confusing because gems can be crystals, but crystals aren't always gems, and there's also the crystal gems. Anyway, they have a scrap of information that says they don't avoid conversation. That's kinda it. As chaotic creatures, they're more impulsive and interested in the world and its events. Compared to any other gems, they still hold true to neutrality and have no interest in good versus evil, and only really care about their hoard not being stolen from. Observing my two main reference sources, I see now that good old Mr. Colville took a match to the Monstrous Manual and turned each subtype on its head. Which isn't a bad thing, that's what you're supposed to do. Topaz dragons, from the lore that I'm tossing up to y'all, are selfish assholes. Because they're meant to be paragons of their alignment, chaotic neutral dragons are nothing but chaotic. Erratic to a capital T, you probably shouldn't have them in your game. Or just have 10. They chill in the elemental chaos, Limbo, at Burning Man, Coachella, and Costa Rica. They don't like company, probably will only talk to you if you don't want them to, and are just as likely to fart their dehydrating breath weapon at you as they are to scream it. Oh boy, now that we got those out of the way, here's my list of things that I have to race through. I left out just a few because they've either already been mentioned in my other videos or I don't know they exist yet. Wyverns are brainless, animalistic cousins to dragons who, as I said before, don't got arms. They hunt like wildcats, kill with stingers, and also like caves. And people raise them for some reason. Cockatrice are wyverns on a 1 to 6 scale that are made from lizards, stuffed inside a bat, stuffed inside a chicken. Delicious to bite into when it's done properly, but you turn to stone if they manage to bite you back. In some mythologies, they just breathe on you or they look at you, and then suddenly you're Dwayne Johnson. Amphitheaters are just flying sex snakes, but big enough to ride. Also, God stole their legs and gave them to lindworms. Lindworms are big-ass snakes who decided they want to dig, so now they have arms. They chill at the roots of the world tree and eat, kinda like actual worms. Just picture the Mexican mole lizard mixed with the Alaskan bullworm. Now take away their arms and make them really hungry. That's worms. And worms. And worms. A long time ago, some dumb idiot touched a salamander and the neurotoxin set his veins on fire. Then he went to a bar, said it was the size of a dog, made of fire, and could also put out fires, and that it was poisonous. Apparently people really liked his story. A hydra is from a Hercules, and it has the bunch of head. Drakes vary a lot, but the most well-known are wingless, otherwise hound-like dragons. If you hatch one, and you prove you're its superior, you've got an armor-plated German Shepherd. Leviathans, or sea serpents, are seafaring and wingless kraken dragons that the Lord Jesus is gonna fucking slay with a sword. So that's cool. Dragon turtles are greedy and hulking sea monsters who bite holes in ships because they like opening all the Amazon packages inside, and they like to keep our stuff. Dragonborns are clan-based nobles with shitty stat blocks. When a dragon and a person love each other very much, they go on to DeviantArt and make a baby OC. Here's cool art for a character in my live game that's one of these. That's all I got. Get out of here.